With that being said, I want to bring a gentleman up who's going to open this up. One of our board members and a very good friend. He's also the athletic director at St. Joe Prep, the illustrious Mr. Murray. Mr. Murray, it's yours.
Thank you, Milt. If you look inside your program book, on page 1, we lost a very important member of this group and a very important person to Philadelphia football. Andy Havel passed away on February 16th. Andy Havel graduated from Father Judge High School in 1969 and then went to LaSalle University. He worked for Verizon for 35 years as a software technician. In 1972, he married his high school prom date, Mary Ellen, and was blessed with 2 beautiful children, Michael in 1976 and Jennifer in 1979. I would like Mary Ellen and Michael to stand and please recognize them. Mary Ellen, Michael. As the children played sports at Somerton Youth Organization, he coached their various teams and later served as athletic director and president. Around the same time in '76, he started officiating football. Over the years, Andy moved from the CYO level up to the college level. Most recently, he was a technical advisor for the Colonial, Ivy, and Patriot Leagues. He was also the coordinator of officials for the Philadelphia Catholic League and the Inter-Academic League. Throughout his long football officiating career, he met and became good friends with many outstanding men, including one of today's inductees, Mr. Jimmy King. And he also coached softball at Archbishop Ryan High School from 1989 until the present. Andy will be long remembered for mentoring high school softball players and many young football officials. Andy was a life member of this organization and an inductee in 2010, Mr. Andy Havel. And now for our invocation. Blessed are you, Lord God of all creation, for it is through your goodness that we are gathered here this evening to honor and perpetuate the memory of the men and women who have brought lasting fame to the state of Pennsylvania through their athletic achievements. We are grateful for the blessings you have bestowed on us, athletes, coaches, officials, and administrators. We ask you to bless those who are hungry and those who are homeless. And we ask you, God, to bless what we are about to eat and what we are about to do tonight, tomorrow, and always. Mr. Joe Cunningham. Mr. Joe Cunningham is also a member of this board. Enjoy your meal. Thank you.
So he'll give you a little bio of himself. Without further ado, Mr. Joe to camera.
Well, thank you, Milt, and good evening, everybody. It's a real honor for me to be here tonight, and I'll tell you what, I'm not going to waste your time with my resume or bio. I'm on the Fanatic. I have a great time hosting shows, and it's a privilege for me to be here with you tonight. Let me just first, I know there were sort of introductions earlier in the evening, but let me, if it hasn't been formally said, welcome you to the 23rd Annual Banquet for the Philadelphia City All-Star Chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. Now let that kind of sink in here for a little bit. We're talking about Philly, and we're talking about the state of Pennsylvania and a Hall of Fame. And I think that's real cool. And for the 13 individuals and the 14 honorees that we are honoring here tonight that are with us, just a remarkable accomplishment and really a lifetime Achievement Award if you think about it. I mean, we're talking about accomplishments that span not a year, not a decade, but decades. And my hat's off, honestly, to all of you. And so, yeah, certainly, please, a round of applause for our 14 honorees here tonight. I want to thank Milt for bringing me into the fold here. This is my first time attending the banquet, and this is an awesome room, and obviously everyone eating food, so just keep eating, have some fun. We'll hear from each of the award winners, and it'll be great. I see some friendly faces in the crowd. I see my Maxwell football friends over here from the football club. I see a Penn Charter table right here. Brian Mccluskey, who will be honoring tonight. Brian and I go way back. I've got friends from so many different schools in the house here tonight, including my high school of St. Joe's Prep. So it's great to see the friendly faces. And those of you that I don't know as well, I look forward later in the evening to being able to talk to as many of you as possible. This is a nice reprieve for me. I just got off the air. I'm on each night on The Fanatic from 6 to 7, and I think we've probably done about 25 straight shows on Deshaun and Chip, like back and forth. Sort of never ends. It could go on 25 more straight days. We'll find out. It's been kind of a weird time lately in Philly sports. If you think about it, it hasn't been the most, full time of winning lately. The Eagles just cut. Now, the Eagles had a great season, so there's no question about that. But you think about it just recently here. The Eagles just cut one of their best players. They got nothing in return. Now, the Phillies are undefeated right now, which I think we're all happy about. And that could change in about 3 hours. We hope it doesn't. We hope it doesn't. The sense of optimism, we'll see. We'll see what happens. The 76ers, they've only, that's pretty cool. They've only lost 27 of their last 28. So, they're trying here. They're making some progress. And the Flyers maybe is where some good hope lies right now with what they're doing, heading hopefully toward a playoff berth. The reality, though, is that we talk about Philadelphia sports, and so often we talk, not just in the Fanatic, but all around town. We talk about the Eagles and the Phillies and the Sixers and Flyers, and with great reason. They are the four biggest unifying factors for us as Philadelphia sports fans. And of course, we also talk about the Big Five, which is both a unifying factor and a divisive factor from a certain standpoint, but one that certainly we all celebrate. But when you really move beyond just those two levels and you think about it, the bedrock of Philadelphia sports really is most often associated, often overlooked, but the reality is our schools, our grade schools and our high schools. And one of the reasons I'm so happy to be here tonight is to honor those individuals that came up through the ranks within our grade schools, within our high schools, that matriculated to our colleges, and often do get overlooked, frankly. And not just by us at the Fanatic, but all around town. And here tonight, right here, the Philadelphia chapter, the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, never overlooks that element, the bedrock of Philadelphia sports. So it's great tonight for the 14 honorees that we'll have to acknowledge their awesome contributions. I love Hall of Fames. I think we all do. I mean, who doesn't get a kick out of the Hall? One time I took a trip when I was in high school. I took a trip to first Canton, Ohio, and then I went over to up to Canada for the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, and then down to Cooperstown. And so, we celebrate these things. And to know that Pennsylvania has this kind of hall and Philadelphia has such a robust chapter with such storied members is very cool. So essentially tonight, if you're not familiar, and I'm sure most of you are, what we're talking about is the players, the coaches, the administrators, the umpires, people at so many different levels and often intertwined at multiple levels, all within the span of a career, that basically stood out as difference makers. And that's what we'll have up here tonight, the true difference makers over these last many decades within the Philadelphia sports and Pennsylvania sports community. Let me tell you a little bit about the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. It was founded in 1962, and right off the website of the hall, you can find a very key line. It says that the hall was founded in 1962 to, quote, perpetuate the memory of athletes, male or female, who have brought lasting fame and recognition to the state of Pennsylvania through their athletic achievements. That's some pretty powerful stuff. So when we get these 14 up here, think about all that stands for. The Pennsylvania Sports Hall has 29 chartered chapters. They serve more than 300 communities, and we here in Philadelphia are one of those 29 charter chapters. All right, we're going to get to the individual honorees in just a moment, but I do want to tell you, because otherwise Milt's going to kill me if I don't, that at 9 o'clock we're going to have the drawing for the 50-50 raffle. So here's the bottom line. Anyone wishing to make a donation to our scholarship fund will get a lighted keychain with our charter logo on any donation of $5 or more. This is also available for all yearly memberships, which is $5, and lifetime memberships, $75. New members will also get the keychain, plus a free 50-50 ticket. Remember that all revenue tonight, and this obviously always exists, from the banquet goes to the scholarships for our student athletes who participate in city, high school sport all-star games. And in the 23-year existence of the hall, the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, and of course the Philadelphia chapter, has given back, think about this, over $150,000 to the children of our communities. So all of you who have ever donated, phenomenal, $150,000. So please tonight, be as generous as you can. It's $5 for 2 raffle tickets, $10 for 6, and $20 for 15 raffle tickets. And again, that drawing coming up tonight at 9 o'clock. All right, before we proceed any further, let's get right to it and acknowledge our 14 honorees tonight. We'll hear from them specifically. We'll honor their accomplishments. But first, we'll bring them up on stage as a group to celebrate them together. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Our 14 honorees 2014. First, Mr. Robert Coleman. Sir, come up to the stage. Robert Coleman. Joe Corby. Joe Corby is being honored tonight. He passed away a few years ago. His son, Joe, is with us, and we'd ask his son, Joe Corby, to come up on the stage as well. And fellas, there's your name here so we can keep it alphabetized. Kind of helps me, you know what I'm saying? How about Michael Corby? Michael, come on up. Congratulations, Michael Corby. Kathy Killian. Kathy. Well, she's either got the biggest cheering section or is the coolest person in the room. Or both. Or both. Yes. Why did I say or? I just got myself in trouble. How about James King? James King, congratulations. Hubie Marshall. Hubie. Right here from this table right in front of me, Brian Mccluskey. Bill Mendek. Come on up, Bill. Tim Murphy. Congratulations, Tim. Gene Otto. Gene. Stanley Parker. Congratulations, Stan. Dave Pauly. Dave, come on up. Frank Sylvester. Frank. And finally, Robert Wheeler. Tell you what, I always wanted to be the game show guy on The Price is Right. Like, come on down. You know, this is like, come on up. Robert, congratulations. When we get the entire group up here, we'll get some pictures and certainly allow all of you to snap some photographs here while we have everybody in attendance. Let's wait till Robert gets up here. Robert, congratulations.
Thank you.
Right in the middle, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have multiple opportunities to welcome them as a group, but how about right now, a great ovation for our honorees as a group. Congratulations. All right, well, let's get to it here, a little bit more individualized. Again, remember, 9 o'clock is when that raffle portion closes. You can get some information in the back, but let's get to the individuals who have the opportunity to speak. Now, it's funny, I got so much information on all 14 of our honorees, and trying to, just want to make sure this thing doesn't fall, trying to sort of narrow it down as best I could. The bottom line is I could give you 25 bullet points for everybody, but I want to give them an opportunity to speak. So as best I could, we look to highlight some of their tremendous achievements and really maximize the time that they're up here at the podium. Let's start first with Mr. Robert Coleman. He has dedicated his career to serving the youth of our region through athletics. Don't we all love sports? And Robert's been right there doing it for decades. He is currently the Executive Director of Athletics for the School District of Philadelphia. What a title that is. And in that capacity has overseen athletic programs for Philadelphia's, you ready for this, 200,000 public and charter school students. He has also coached. He has coached basketball. He has coached softball. He has coached football. Like so many of our honorees up here tonight, involved in so many different layers of our Philadelphia and Pennsylvania sports community. He helped the Catholic League join the PIAA a couple years ago. You might remember that merger. To bring the Catholic League into the fold. And he also brought back, and how much we love this, city championship games, instrumental in city championship games returning to Philadelphia. And in 2007, Robert was bestowed a tremendous honor. The Frederick Douglass Society of Westchester honored Robert with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drum Major of Justice Award. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Robert Coleman. We'll do a picture right here. We'll figure it out.
Thank you. Good evening. I wrote a script and I'm going to read it and try to stay within the 3 to 4 minutes that's allocated for me, and if I ad-lib or pontificate, I would definitely go more than that. So, good evening. I am humbled and grateful for the opportunity in 2014 to be inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame within the City All-Star Chapter. I would like to give special thanks to the following people. First and foremost, I give honor to God, who gives me the strength day by day to handle all responsibilities as the Executive Director of the Office of Athletics for the School District of Philadelphia and as the District 12 Chairman for the PIAA. Second, I give second to my supportive wife and wonderful family, who understands the time that I sacrifice, mostly away from them, is bringing hope and establishing a future for others. Thank you, Joanne. Third, to my office and my office staff, which includes 9 retirees, a host of sports chairs and athletic directors, and to the district administration and school-based staff members for their countless efforts which have not gone unrecognized, especially to Dr. William R. Height, Superintendent of the School District of Philadelphia. He has met with me on numerous one-on-one discussions addressing departmental issues regarding my office and has attended many athletic events supporting students. Fourth, to Milt Halstead, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, as well as to all officials, board members, and particularly to Doug McCauley, who nominated me for the Hall of Fame. Thank you, Doug. Fifth and last, but certainly not least, I would like to give special thanks to my former executive director, Margie Wiesner, who hired me as her special assistant in 2003, and to our students. It is because of the students that I am here able to receive this great honor. It is truly a privilege to serve. Since working in the Office of Athletics, then joining PIAA in 2003, many great things have been accomplished by students in the public and charter schools. As evident, the Catholic schools eventually joined PIAA in 2007. Bringing public, Catholic, and charter schools together is one of the best things to ever happen for the city of Philadelphia. Collectively, as one city, one team with one dream, we have accomplished great things. In regards to lifelong travel experiences, many student athletes learned the importance of responsibility, maturity, and increased independence while having the wonderful opportunity of staying in their own rooms overnight in dormitories, particularly during track and field championships at Shippensburg University. All high school student athletes have been given the opportunity to receive free sports physicals annually, including EKGs and echocardiograms as needed, which has saved many lives by detecting serious heart conditions. All student athletes were served by a host of professional medical and non-medical volunteers. Together as one city, one team, one dream, we have overseen approximately 48 combined PIAA state championships from 2004 to 2014. That's public, Catholic, and charter schools. Collectively, as one city, one team with one dream, approximately $300 million equitably distributed in 4-year scholarships per person to over 2,460 student athletes from 2003 to 2013. That is phenomenal. As PIAA District 12 Chairman and as the Executive Director for the School District of Philadelphia, I have overseen the landscape change over Philadelphia-wide. We have 4 outdoor super sites built for $8 million each to include Northeast, Germantown, Gratz, South Philadelphia high schools. Lincoln High School athletic field has an upgrade of $3 million. West Philadelphia High School athletic field received a $1 million renovation this current year. These are only a few of the many accomplishments made by a collaboration of efforts. Facing the reality of life and making decisions as it impacts the quality of my life means that I will need to soon consider the appropriate time to hand over the baton. My ultimate desire is to leave the district's Office of Athletics better than what it was when I arrived in 2003. I have accomplished that. However, there is still much more to do. Much more to improve the athletic experience of our students, so don't count me out just yet. We are high school. Congratulations to all inductees. And again, I humbly accept the honor of being inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame within the City All-Star Chapter. Thank you, and you too.
Wonderful words. Thank you, sir, very, very much. All right, our next honoree is Joe Corby. Let me just say this to the 14 of you guys up here. I think what we'll try to do for the pictures, because it is a nice moment, let's have you come out in front. I'll join you in front. We'll pass the plaque over, and that way we'll have a clear shot for the pictures. All right, Joe Corby, as I mentioned earlier, unfortunately not with us tonight. He passed away back in 2007, but his son, Joe Corby, is with us here to accept this award on his behalf, and his family. Let's acknowledge his family. I'm not sure where you are. Where's the Corby family? Congratulations to the Corby family, his wife, and his family. Congratulations. Joe Corby, Olney High School, varsity football, basketball, and baseball. He went on to play at Temple, attend Temple, student athlete in both football and baseball. And for a period of time at Temple, very cool distinction, actually for a period of time led the nation in batting average over 2 different seasons while he was at Temple. He went on, as so many of our award winners tonight and honorees, to be a coach, the head football coach at Woodrow Wilson High School, and then later the head football coach at Deptford High School, with an overall coaching record, an outstanding coaching record in football of 194, 84, and 9. And this included, while with the Spartans, a record of 170, 65, and 7, 2 sectional titles, 10 division championships. We certainly wish he were here with us tonight, but on his behalf and representing his family and his father is his son, Joe Corby. Again, congratulations, Joe Corby.
On behalf of my father, who obviously is not here tonight, I'd like to thank the city chapter. Sure he'd be overwhelmed with this noble induction into such a storied history in Philadelphia sports, which everybody here is a part of and well aware of. Dad almost didn't go to college in Philadelphia. A story he told me, he went out of prep school and he went to visit Notre Dame. He was a lineman, and back then most linemen were 5'9", 180. He went out to Notre Dame, and every lineman out there was 6'2", 220, which was behemoth at that time. So he did a U-turn and came back and went to Temple. Played baseball and football there. Thereafter coached and loved what he did. Loved to make men from boys. He always thanked my mother, who spent many sacrifices as a football widow, cooking late dinners and waiting for him to come home. Saturdays, Sundays when he watched film. His daughters, myself, he always thanked. We were always there, support of him and what he did. Like I said, just want to thank everyone. I'm sure he'd be overwhelmed with what he did his whole childhood and college. You know, for the first 25 years of his life, did something he loved. He played athletics in the city of Philadelphia. Many great friendships, many great relationships, taught him life lessons, just many great memories. The list goes on and on and on of friends and colleagues over the years. Just want to thank everybody once again. Thank you very much.
All right, our next honoree is Dave Pauly. Dave, for many years, has been with the University of the Sciences men's basketball program since 1982, and for most of that time has been the head coach. 14 years as the head coach, he has qualified, his teams have, for 4 national tournaments, and he helped the program and really the university transition the school from the NIIA level to the NCAA 2 status. And obviously those kind of transitions take time, take planning, and take execution, and certainly Dave has helped in that process completely. And how about this? And this is, you know, a rarity when we think about sports, and particularly with the stories we hear oftentimes about college athletics, but how about in his time as head coach, a 100% graduation rate amongst his student athletes? 100%. Really cool. Dave has coached 5 All-Americans, and he's one of 3 coaches in school history with over 1,000 wins. He also has been an official in college athletics in soccer for over 25 years. It is our great pleasure tonight. We welcome him up to the podium. Congratulations, Dave Pauly.
That's not 1,000 wins. It's only 100. I'll take 1,000 though. My guys take courses I couldn't even pronounce. If you see any 6'9" pharmacists out there, please let me know. So many people congratulated me tonight on the award, and to a man, they mentioned it's an appropriate day for me to go in. to a Hall of Fame. April Fool's Day. Real quickly, thank you. Heard a great line during the season. Lose yourself among great people. My wife is here, Christine Flanagan. My son David is at home playing with dinosaurs and trucks. Thank you for sharing your life with me. You make me complete. I love you both. I've been called every name in the book, but none better than Daddy. My in-laws are here, Tim and Carol Flanagan. I'd like them to stand and be recognized. I was pretty lucky. I had two parents, Jerry and Omi Pauly. My father passed away several years ago, but he would have been really excited to be here tonight. And I was very lucky to have two parents. Most of my players that I've coached in 32 years had two parents. Not too amazing that we do pretty well. Two guys brought me to the university, was known as Philadelphia College of Pharmacy and Science in '82. Bob Morgan, who I was an assistant for 18 years, and Paul Clemitis, my current AD. Everybody who worked in that office at 45th and Woodland is in some sort of Hall of Fame. Pretty amazing for a small office in West Philly. My best friend from 7th grade is here tonight, all the way from Virginia, Mike Tobin. Stand up, Mike. Mike wrestled for Mass Maritime. You don't know who Mass Maritime is? That's Captain Phillips. I am the captain now. He went to Mass Maritime. Mike was an All-American at 4 different weight classes in wrestling. Probably a testament to his training regime, I'm sure. Ridley High School. They're here tonight. Paul, Bruce Yudovich, Rich Pagano. Jason Wilkinson played for me. Played 8 seasons, which is typical of Ridley High School graduate. So I'm well represented by my neighborhood tonight, and I can't thank you enough, guys, for being here, because I'm really proud to tell Ridley High School stories, and my players would tell you that to a man. All my former players, please stand. All the players here supporting me. I just want you guys to know I never believed one story you told me why you played for me. But all very successful, and you stand with me tonight on the stage. You share this moment. Been pretty lucky. I've had great assistant coaches. I was an assistant for 18 years. I've had 5 assistants in my 14 years as head coach move on to full-time positions. It's great because they learn what not to do, so their next position, they're ready. Mentors. I can't tell you who won the last 5 Oscars, but I can tell you some people that help in no particular order. Speedy Morris, Jim Maloney, who's a member of this organization, Ray Edelman, John Chaney, Fran Dunphy, John Giannini, who's here, and if he didn't get the Glass Barrel job, and I did as a runner-up, I'd be at LaSalle. Jim Crawford, who's also here tonight. Son Matt played for me. Matt has now taken over Camden Catholic. Dan Doherty, and last but not least, I'd like to mention the Newell family. That's a name probably not familiar with you. Coach Newell coached Cal to a national championship in '59. I got to meet him in '96 and spent a lot of time with him. I thought I knew everything, like most coaches. I realized what I didn't know. And the Newell family and Pete Sr., his oldest, really kept me from being fired. Also, Mike Dunlap, who just got the head coaching job at Loyola Marymount, is also in the Newell family. And I owe my job to those guys because they helped me and mentor me. Soccer. I had great mentors in that. Rocco Montano, Nick Ciaquano, who's a member of this Hall of Fame. Great referees. Tom Ruth is here. Just ask him. He'll tell you how great a ref he is. Dan Rudloff is another person that I ref with. And Again, I had a nice career, and unlike most officials, there's an age requirement in soccer. Unlike college basketball, so at 45 you walk away from it. Interesting concept. I have a group of friends. If you know me, I know a lot of people. Cherry Hill Cigar Club's here. Please stand and be recognized. They're not real happy with me because I coach a team that doesn't have a betting line. Real quick, Markwood Basketball Club, as you well know, is a Philadelphia institution. They put me up for this, and I really appreciate the friendship over the years. That really put me on, helped me as a coach, and helped me recruit. And I appreciate the guys from the Markwood, Dennis Hill, Bob Dillon, Tom Lynch, many more. Tex Flannery, Andy Dock really got me started as a 23-year-old and helped me recruit. The fellow inductees, I'm very humbled, very appreciative to share this stage with you. And I share this honor with everybody that's associated with me. I stand on your shoulders. I'd like to say one last thing. Thank you for recognizing small college basketball. We really appreciate it. Thank you. It made a very special night for me tonight. Thank you.
All right. And again, thank you to your contributions as we help support the athletic fund. All right, Michael Corby, our next honoree here tonight from Olney High School. All-Public League in football 3 times as a player. He also starred in track and ran, how cool is this, in the very prestigious Penn Relays. He also then went after Olney to Stoughton Military Academy, where he was a member of an undefeated championship squad and also, again, excelled in track. He then went on to star at the University of Houston in the same themes here of both football and track, and finished his college career playing ball at Temple. From there, he went on in 1965 to be drafted in the 3rd round of the NFL draft by the Los Angeles Rams. Unfortunately, a knee career derailed the plans for Michael. But he also went on from there, unable to play at the level he was formerly accustomed to transitioning to an extremely successful career as a sports agent. He also is a member of the Maxwell Football Club, and it is our privilege to have him with us here tonight. Our next honoree, congratulations, Michael Corby. Michael.
Thank you very much. I promised 3 people this evening that I will stay within the 3-minute limit. My family, number 1, Larry Shane, number 2, and Herb Gordon. I'll try. I'd like to thank all of the directors, especially Milt Halstead, in selecting me for this very special honor. I would also like to congratulate my fellow inductees as we join so many outstanding Philadelphia sportsmen and sportswomen to this most prestigious club. There are so many individuals to whom I'm indebted. Some are present, and those who are not, I have thanked them personally. Coaches, mentors, and especially my teammates. For without them, I would not be here standing in front of you. There are many more who are no longer with us, but I owe a tremendous amount of gratitude. Gus Bracha, Bobby Caesar, Pickles Kennedy, Angie Koya, and Ray Abruzzi, just to name a few. I played and have been associated with many well-known coaches. At Stanton Military Academy, Stanton. Dick Steinberg. At Houston, Bill Yeoman, Chuck Fairbanks, and J.D. Roberts. At Temple, Dave DiFilippo, John Rogers, and the all-time Temple Owl, Gavin White. Wayne Harder with the Bulldogs, Harlan Savar with the Rams, and Pappy Waldorf of the 49ers, and last but not least, Al Locasell of the Oakland Raiders. They all taught me a great deal about the game of football. But the one coach who prepared me for life, teaching me patience, integrity, discipline, sportsmanship, and most of all, teamwork, was my high school coach, Jim Woodside, to whom I will always be thankful. He gave a kid who just turned 15 the opportunity of being his starting quarterback for his senior Ladies football team. And as they say, the rest is in black and white. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the most special person in my life, my wife, Kim, who has put up with me for 48 years, 48 plus years. And tonight, I would like to publicly thank her for her patience and understanding while I traversed the United States and Canada during my 17 years as a professional sports agent and the many nights I spent at the All-Star and Maxwell Banquet, events, and meetings. I'd like to thank my two children, Michelle and Michael, for their understanding for all those hours I spent on the phone instead of watching the Three Stooges and Wink Martindale, NSS. Being inducted this evening with my brother Joe supersedes all of the other accolades I've received in my career. He was not only my brother, but he was also my coach and my biggest fan. He left an indelible mark on my life, and I played every game with his pregame advice. Play with reckless abandon and never leave any regrets on that field. And I never did. I've been very fortunate on and off the playing fields, and I attribute a great deal of it to my participation in athletics. Life has been very good to me and my family, and tonight is the ultimate reward. Lastly, to my parents, Ange and Nick, to my brothers, Vince, Anthony, my brother Nick, Louis and Donnie, it's been one hell of a night for the Corby family. Thank you.
Our next honoree is Kathy Killian, right here to my right. Kathy was a star basketball player at Spring Garden College, where she dominated in basketball and had her number 35 jersey retired. She also coached women's basketball at Holy Family from 1987 to 1995. She's been a member of the Phillies organization since 1985 and currently has a phenomenal role and an important role with the Phillies as the Vice President of Human Resources and Customer Service within the Phillies. In 2006, she was honored by the Phillies with the Richie Ashburn Special Achievement Award for loyalty, dedication, and passion for the game. And of course, anytime we invoke the name Richie Ashburn, and perhaps the most beloved figure in Philadelphia sports over the last 60 or 70 years, it's very special and a great honor for Kathy to receive that award. And Kathy, I was speaking on the phone 2 nights ago to our mutual friend, you don't know this, but Jack Rogers from Penn Charter, who asked me to tell you that he apologizes he can't be here, but he just has all love for you and great respect, and he wanted me to pass that along to you. We congratulate our next honoree who's with us right now to speak. Congratulations, Kathy Killian.
Good evening, everybody. So as I crutched in here today and crutched from the back of the room to the front of the room, everyone wanted to know what happened and how I got hurt playing. So my dear friend Mike Harris thought before I start my speech I should let everyone know that before the surgery I did make the shot on the way down. So that went pretty good. Thanks, Michael, for that. So I am on the DL. Thank you all so much for this incredible honor tonight. First of all, congratulations to an amazing group of men that I sit here on the stage with. I'm incredibly honored to be part of a group of athletes and coaches, educators, administrators, umpires, referees like my friend Jimmy King, and people just like all of us who share this amazing devotion and reverence to their respective sports. I'm truly humbled and honored to be part of the class of 2014. Congratulations to all of you. Thanks to the governing body of the City All-Star Chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame for their commitment. I heard the year 1962, so if I was born in 63, that's 51 years, that you've been honoring good people who share a common enthusiasm. Sports. It all allows us for the opportunity to come together. Two themes that I wanted to focus on in my remarks tonight, just to keep it light. One is about gratitude for opportunities, and the other is about teamwork. In my current role at the Phillies, when I talk to young people and interns who are trying to break into the industry, I often ask them about their involvement in sports, on any team and on any level. I say to them, did you have an association with a team? Were you a manager? Were you a player? Were you an assistant coach? Did you carry the water bottles? And I always believe that this kind of association with any kind of a team gives you a blueprint for success, whether it's in your work or career, your relationships or your marriages, or other professional or personal endeavors. Team skills are built by respect, understanding the roles of the coaches and the decision makers, the people that are in charge, accepting your own responsibilities and your role as a good teammate, and how you treat others and how you work with others, and ways to understand what your role is in the success of that team. So when I took a minute to pause about this great honor, looking back over my life, I've had the tremendous good fortune to be part of a few teams. So I went to Webster's Dictionary on the internet and I looked up the word team. Team is a number of persons associated in work or activity. So I ask you tonight to sit and think. What are the teams you've been associated with? And what was the thing that made the greatest impact in your life? Lucky for me, I was born into a pretty good team, our family. And I'm grateful for the encouragement of my mom and dad to participate and seek opportunities for education through sports. As the oldest of 4 kids, I played sports throughout grade school. Growing up in the Frankfort section of Philadelphia at St. Joachim Parish, sports gave us kids the opportunity to travel outside of the neighborhood, meet other people, gain confidence and people skills by working with other coaches and teammates, and a lot of them became mentors. One of my favorite memories in my childhood was in 7th grade. Our assistant basketball coach took us to see the famous Mighty Macs from Immaculata College. We got to meet the team after the game, and then we got to meet the players and then write an essay about it. I'll never forget that night because I wanted to be just like those girls. So from there, I went to camps every summer, started to follow college basketball. Then I started to realize that being a successful student athlete could actually pay your way for college. And that's when Title IX started. Title IX was equal tuition for girls and boys to go play sports. So at Little Flower, I really worked hard, and I could not believe my freshman year that I made the team. I played almost year-round that first year. Please know that I was never an elite athlete by any measure. I played against the likes of the Bisels and local players like Gina Tobin and Kathy Rasler. My parents always taught me to work hard, and if I kept at it, it would pay off. One person in the room that I have to thank tonight is Mike Soroka. Mike was my college coach. Mike, can you stand up? Talk about a man who took a gamble. Mike was at the helm of Spring Garden College back in the day, this small college in Chestnut Hill. And while we didn't have the comforts of our own gym or residence halls, I would not trade my college experience for anything in the world. It was a collection of local athletes, Catholic and public leagues, playing with people like Seraphine Pio, who was one of the top guards in the Philadelphia area. Mike had an eye for talent, and we had a great time while we played together, and he coached us at Spring Garden. At that time, there was also no three-point shot in basketball. But when you think of the number of points Seraphine had in her career, Mike, it was pretty incredible. My freshman year, we made the nationals with the NAIA, and we only had 9 kids on our roster. Really hard to believe. I cherish the relationships I had from my Spring Garden days. After college, I landed an opportunity to intern at the Philadelphia Phillies. I also did two things. I got to coach with Mike. So here I was, baseball during the day, coaching and scouting at night. Could life be any better than this? We had the good fortune of getting some of the best talent in the area. You know, those run through the wall kind of players, the second and third best kids on their team. We made a lot of memories, we won a lot of games, and it was a really, really happy time in life. After Mike retired, I have Sandy Michael, who's in the room tonight, to thank for the opportunity to be a head coach. It was truly an honor and a privilege, Sandy, to coach the Holy Family. Personally, I know I will not be remembered for the number of W's we may have had, but I hope we can agree that our kids were in great shape, and I really cared a lot about them. Will all my student athletes who play for me stand up? Looking back, there was a gift that came from coaching. The power of allowing student athletes to have some athletic scholarship money to play and prepare them for their futures was one of the most powerful experiences. And I don't think Mike and I even understood it at the time. So when I look at all of you, I see successful young women. Okay, some of you are only 5 years younger than me. But I see teachers and nurses and police officers, really good moms and wives and partners and coaches. Our Holy Family team maintained a spirit of friendship, commitment, and loyalty. I cherish that time, and I thank you for all being here tonight. And to my dear friends in the Phillies front office team, thanks for your support and friendship. To great colleagues like my friends and mentors, Chris Long, Betty Ann Robb, fellow Hall of Famer Mike DiMuzio, and my boss Mike Stiles, those are people who lead by example. Their attitude is a standard in the way we learn how to be Phillies employees. The leadership of David Montgomery, over 40 plus years with the organization, is kind of the way we run our business. We do as David does. After 29 years, I can say that my gift of friendship at the Phillies has been nothing short of amazing. We had success in our playoff and World Series appearances, but our favorite memory still is the parade down Broad Street. As a family, we win together and we lose together. My Phillies life has been a great experience, and I'm very proud of our team both on and off the field. In closing, back to my original team, my family. I'll leave a thought with all of you. To the nieces and nephews in our family, me and Mike, Kylie, Meredith, Caroline, and Jilly. If you remain humble, work hard, have a grateful heart, and help each other, this is the spirit of teamwork. We will all be following the great example of the best team I ever watched in action, and that's Granny and Pop. So you see, everyone, a life, including sports, is a life well lived. And let me tell you, as our dear friend, the great Mage McDonald once said, if you work or play sports, you will have many friends for life, and you'll never feel like you've worked a day in your life. Thank you.
Kathy, beautiful words. Thank you. And let me just take a moment before we move on to our next honoree. One of the questions I get asked a lot around town is about Darren Daulton, who was my co-host last couple seasons on The Fanatic, and of course, beloved member of the Phillies organization, the Philadelphia sports community. And so people naturally ask me all the time how Dutch is doing. And you know, the reality is it's hard for me to know exactly how he's doing. But in general, I can definitely pass along to you that he is doing fairly well. It is still an uphill fight for sure, and he knows that, and everyone close to Dutch knows that. But he's sure as heck doing a lot better than he could have been doing, given what it looked like about 6 months ago. So the reality is, he's got great functionality. He's fighting the fight. He's living down in Florida. He moved back to Florida, which is where he usually would live in the off season, and he is 1,000% aware and appreciative and humbled by the great outpouring of support that he received from Philadelphia sports fans during 2013. So I just want to let you know Dutch is doing pretty well, and it's an ongoing fight, but certainly a lot better than it could have been. All right, let's move on to our next honoree, James King, who went to Abraham Lincoln High School, graduated in 1969, and also LaSalle College, graduating in 1973. But for James, it was a mark of excellence in the officiating career that brings him to us here and up on the dais tonight. What a great officiating career it was for James. This included exemplary work in the Catholic League, the Public League, the Interact, the Suburban One League, the Bicentennial League. He's been a supervisor of officials. He has been a college football ref at the Division I AA level. He has been a baseball umpire at the Division I level. Like so many of our honorees, I could go on and on and on with just bullet point after bullet point. The bottom line, he's been an exceptional official, and of course, as a supervisor, he also helps to nurture and improve the next generation of officials as well. Congratulations, James King.
Wait, that's the table chart. Milt, I got the table chart. Good evening, everybody, and I am just so thrilled to be here. I would like to thank the Pennsylvania State Hall of Fame City All-Star Executive Committee for nominating me for this honor, especially Milt Halstead and Frank Cosman, my breakfast buddy. You're paying tomorrow. It's truly gratifying and an honor and a privilege to even be considered for this induction. I offer congratulations to my fellow inductees as well. I never gave much thought for membership into the hall. I've been on that end of it, and I know that speeches, I'm only going to be 27 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm extremely pleased to be in this hallowed company on the stage and people who've been inducted before. I had a friend who used to travel around to the games with me, a fellow by the name of Bucky Almaday. Bucky used to coach the North Philly Cards in the Pendel League, and he also coached Bucky's Good Guys in the Hunting Park Sunday Morning Touch League. Jim McGonigal used to send us down to the Hunting Park League to teach us how to call pass interference. You learn pretty darn quick to call pass interference because if you got it wrong, you might get beat up. But Bucky also traveled with me to high school basketball games. And after one particular game at Chestnut Hill, I think it was Penn Charter in Chestnut Hill, John McGartle was acting up. I won't tell that story about the lights going out, will I? No. But we're in the car after the game. Bucky said, "Well, how do you think you did?" I said, "I think I did okay." He said, "Now let me get this straight. How do you spell your last name? Is that King?" I said, "Yeah." What? Is that with one eye? He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, that's how you call the damn game." But Bucky always said to me two things. Never forget where you came from, and always stay with your family. And my family has meant the world to me. My wife, Nancy, also known as Ann, 39 years next month. She doesn't look that old. She was 7 when we got married. Being a probation officer, you know, I had a little in with the court there, you know. But, and my 3 sons, Patrick, William, and Jimmy. And I'm very proud of you 3 guys. I love you. And you guys are wonderful kids. And I also have a special day today. It's April Fool's Day. It's William's 25th birthday. And I was very happy when I pulled up to the parking lot today and saw that there were cars in here, that it wasn't a cruel joke. But I started out over 40 years ago, and I can't believe it. I was a 19-year-old kid. Jim Hessen called me to work CYO games in Kensington, Port Richmond, and Fishtown. And you just start getting into it, and it becomes almost like an addiction. It's, you know, the money's nice, it's, you know, but you become consumed by it. Anybody that's officiated at any level knows how you get consumed. So I worked at it and tried to get good, tried to be fair, and tried to do a good job. But little did I expect that this officiating would take me to fields, gyms, and stadiums, not only in the city, the region, and the state, but also from New England to Alabama. And it was a great experience. And one of my partners in my crew, Ray Quenzer, my boyhood friend who I've known over 50 years, he worked a game with me, the Division II National Semifinal in 1989. I had a sick baby at home. Thank you, dear. But most of all, I'd like to thank the mentors and the guys who guided me along, guys who we would look up to coming up. Frank Dunn, Jim McGonigal, Bill Reynolds, supervisors that I worked for, Jim Hessen, Ed Panic, Ray Perry, Tom McLean, Joe Stanley. Joe's here tonight. And Tom Telford on the baseball side of it. I've been with Joe DeMeo for the last 23 years in the Catholic League basketball and the Interact League basketball, and helping to assign officials and develop young officials. And I think we've had a pretty good run with that. We've got some Division I college officials out there. Most of all, I'd like to thank my brother officials who worked the games with me and got me through it all. 2 months ago, we in the Philadelphia Scholastic and Collegiate football officiating community lost a true brother and mentor in Andy Hafel. I worked my first high school varsity game with Andy at Episcopal Academy in 1981. The Catholic League Championship with him in 1985, and the 4A State Championship in Altoona in 1982. Andy gave so much and did a whole lot for a couple of generations of football officials. We're all deeply indebted to him. He will be sorely missed, but we will continue to maintain a high level and live up to his standards and expectations moving forward. I'd like the football officials please stand up and be recognized. I know you're out there. This gang, pardon me? They're at the bar. Oh, that's an upset. But there's no tailgating, no more tailgating. So, but I would just like to thank my fellow officials for getting me through everything over the course of the years, helping me out, and I know I helped a few of them out. And it's been a great experience. Most of my friends are officials. I do have friends from the court here that worked with me in the probation department, and my two brothers are here. And my unofficial brother, John Loftus, he's the good Loftus, not the bad Loftus. And last year, I sat out there and I saw two of my Holmesburg Boys Club boys being inducted into this Hall of Fame. Jerry Magallanes, I know, is here, was here. He's out there in the back. He works in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Mike McLaughlin, the head women's basketball coach at the University of Pennsylvania, the coach of the year, the Ivy League champions. So I'd like those two guys. Michael played for me when he was 10, and he was something else. But I also, on one final note, I'd like to keep my job at LaSalle University as the clock operator. So Coach G, thank you for coming. Coach Harris Adler is there too. I think I might be good for about 3 more years now. But I just want to again thank all of you for being patient with me, and all of you coaches and brother officials out there. Thank you for the years. It's funny how you get to a school and you have in your mind's eye where you're going that day. And I'm going to Penn Charter, and you think, oh man, I'm going to see Brian Mccluskey. I'm going to see Bill Gallagher. Well, not anymore Bill Gallagher, but the guys who are at the schools, the various schools. And it's almost like an anticipation, and you look forward to it. But thank you very much for your patience, everybody, and congratulations to my fellow inductees.
Fantastic speech, James. You know, the theme of April Fools has come up here a couple times tonight, April 1st, which of course, for me and for many people, some of you at least, brings to mind a very famous and special moment in Philadelphia sports history that happens on April Fools. And I got one of these keychains in my pocket for the first person that calls out what it was. Villanova, congratulations, sir. 29 years ago. We'll get this to you in a moment. Matter of fact, right over there. April 1st, 1985. Today is the 29th anniversary of Villanova's victory over Georgetown to win the NCAA championship game. What an amazing game, 66-64. Our next honoree is Hubie Marshall, who starred at Coatesville, and amongst his many accomplishments at Coatesville included being the all-time points leader in the history of Coatesville basketball, and also the individual game leader, and I know this had to be pretty sweet. How about a 50 spot when you're playing at Coatesville against Downingtown, right? I mean, it's not bad. Individual game leader in the history of the school. He graduated in 1963 from Coatesville and then went on to play his college ball at what was then LaSalle College, scoring over 1,500 points. For Hubie, a great recognition from there, being drafted in two different leagues, being drafted by the Indiana Pacers and also being drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers right here in Philly. He played pro ball in the North American Basketball League and was an all-star in the North American Basketball League. Hubie holds the distinction of being in both the LaSalle Hall of Fame, and you gotta love this, also a member of the Big Five Hall of Fame. We congratulate him, Mr. Hubie Marshall.
Thank you so much. I am pleased and yet humbled by this award. I do not accept this award for myself, but on behalf of all the people of Coatesville, Pennsylvania, where I grew up. This award belongs to them. The many coaches I've had from grade school to college, fortunately, two of them are here tonight. First coach I'd like to recognize is Norman Hines, who was my junior high school coach, Walt Funk, and of course Ross Kershey, who is here. Please stand up, Coach Kershey, better known as the Silver Fox. Also Bobby Wallers, my first coach at LaSalle. And of course, Joey Heyer. Is Coach Heyer here tonight? I know he is. Just want to talk about my high school coach for a moment. I think one of the reasons why I was able to score so many points is because of many games of horse that we played after practice every day. Of course, Ross Kershey, Coach Kershey, went to Temple, and I went to LaSalle, so even after high school, he was a mentor towards me. When I felt down or anything, he was always there to comfort me. Coach Heyer was an excellent college coach. He encouraged me, he motivated me, he made me the best ball player I could possibly be, and he's right. Unfortunately, they didn't have three-point shooting at that time. Also, I would like to recognize some of the young players that I grew up with. Joe and Lawrence Brown, Leslie Crutchfield, Joe Kuhn, Ty Carter, Lewis and Vernon Brickus, and of course some older ball players, my older brothers. You know, I had bigger brothers that also toughened me up a little bit. and of course a couple younger brothers. My older cousin, Ernie Brickus, also helped a lot. Ed Lewis, Cliff Reeves. These people not only helped me with my basketball skills, but they also helped life skills. I always like to bring them up because they're the reason why I'm here tonight. Once, after I graduated, somebody said, "Hubie, I watched your whole career. Why was you so passionate about playing basketball?" And it made me think for a while, and I had to go back to my junior high school days. I had never played organized basketball before, and in the 8th grade, I went to South Brandywine Junior High School, and we had won something like 5 or 6 games in a row. You know, when you're young, you think you're invincible. So we played a team called North Brandywine, which obviously was our rival. And we beat them by 1 point at their home court. Our next game was at Gordon Junior High School. Now, North Brandywine had beat them by 20 points. So, of course, we're going to kill them. Well, anybody that's ever played sports, there's no such thing as a given. Not only did we play the game and lose, to add insult to injury, the person I was guarding made the last-second shot. In fact, he's here tonight. Joe Kuhn, could you stand up? So, obviously dejected, upset, I went home. My dad looked at me. He didn't say a word. He knew that we lost. I grabbed an old basketball, had no seams on it, and I just walked up to the basketball court. I started playing, crying, snowflakes coming down. Next thing I know, there are 4 or 5 other guys coming on the court with me. And I think that was the reason why I got enthused about basketball, because I knew from then on I would never, ever take another team for granted. I would always be prepared. More than losing, I think I was more disappointed in myself. I was disappointed because I was not prepared to play. I was not mentally or physically able to do the things that required us to win. I felt that I lost that game. And I could not even look myself in the mirror without being ashamed. And I think that's the one thing that you can get out of sports, is that if you have the enthusiasm to play, you're not going to win every game, but you can put forth the effort every game. And that's something I failed to do, and I promised myself that it would never, ever happen again. And I can assure you, the teams that I played against in high school and college, they felt my wrath. I think that one of the things that we all cherished was that when I went to college and the teammates that I had, they were absolutely excellent. We played the 5th toughest schedule in college basketball during the 60s. LaSalle played Louisville. We played Syracuse, Princeton, Michigan. You name every big school with every ball player, we played and we challenged everyone. And it made me not only a better ball player, but going to a Catholic school, it probably made me a better person. One joke that Coach Hiron always talked about, as a non-Catholic, I said, you know, if we can recruit that 6'9" All-American, I'll become a Catholic. So I want to thank the people that made the selection for me for this event, to be a part of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. I never thought or dreamed this. I believe you're great, and I really appreciate the people that selected me, and I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Our next honoree tonight is Brian Mccluskey. Now, Brian right over here he doesn't know this, he's one of my favorite people that I never talked to. And that's the truth. I haven't talked to Brian probably in about a decade, but I'm a huge fan. He and I first got to know each other back in the late 1980s when I was like a little 4th or 5th grader running around at Penn Charter's day camp, and Brian was about the coolest counselor that's ever existed. So we gotta get back in touch and remain in touch, which is we will. Let me tell you about Brian. He played for the Philadelphia Little Quakers, which certainly is a theme that obviously runs through the course of this banquet tonight. And he starred at Penn Charter as a player in football and baseball. From a football standpoint, certainly his greatest accomplishment at Penn Charter being the starting quarterback for 3 seasons for the Quakers and a first-team All-Interact and a first-team Daily News member. He then went on to play at Ursinus College, and it's kind of rare. I mean, it happens, but it's not that easy. A 4-year starting quarterback at Ursinus, and during that time, he set numerous school records, including yards, completions, touchdown passes in a season, and touchdown passes in a game, and touchdown passes in a career. He is a member of the Ursinus Hall of Fame, and from there he then went back to Penn Charter as both a teacher and a coach, and had a tremendous run as the head football coach at Penn Charter, compiling in 13 seasons a record of 80-44, and that included 7 Interact championships. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Brian Mccluskey.
Good evening. I want to thank the committee members of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame All-Star Chapter for selecting me to be a member of this prestigious Hall of Fame. I also want to congratulate the other recipients who are being honored tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, thank you for attending this evening. I would also like to extend a special thank you to Jack Rogers, the Chief Development Officer at Penn Charter, for nominating me and believing that I am deserving of this honor. I am honored and humbled to be standing before you tonight. However, this honor is not about me, not about the wins and losses, the awards, Hall of Fame inductions, college records, etc. For me, it's about the family, friends, teachers, colleagues, coaches, teammates, and players who have accompanied me on this wondrous journey, and without whom this honor I am receiving tonight would not be possible. Many of them are here tonight, some are not, but I'll always know exactly where they are, right here in my heart. How could it be that I am standing here this evening? I am here because of the extraordinary people who gave me love, guidance, and support. My father, Charles, who is deceased, by his lifelong example, instilled in me the qualities of hard work, respect, honesty, and integrity. He often reminded me that life is short. You must take care of yourself first. You must love your family like there will be no tomorrow, and you must work hard at your profession. His words will resonate with me for the rest of my life. He is my hero. My mother, Margaret, who is here this evening, has been the glue that has kept the family together. Mom, thank you for allowing my siblings and me to believe that we could be whoever we wanted to be and do whatever we wanted to do. There were no limitations except our drive, determination, and creativity. Thank you for your unconditional love and support throughout my journey. I love you. My sister Teresa, brother Chuck, and brother-in-law Danny have provided me an incredible support system. Have provided an incredible support system for me. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I am grateful for their advice, unwavering love, and friendship. Athletics, for as long as I can remember, has always been an important part of my life and afforded me opportunities that have changed and influenced me in many positive ways. The streets and playgrounds of Kensington and Fishtown are where my indoctrination to athletics began. My lifelong friend, Robbie Gerald, and I would spend hours on Ledley Street and in Hackett Schoolyard, throwing the football and impersonating our favorite college and professional athletes. Thanks, Rob, for your friendship. It was Tommy Thompson, PAL officer and my first coach, who decided I would be a quarterback. Tom was instrumental in my early development, and I am grateful for his guidance. My first big opportunity arrived when I was selected to play for the Philadelphia Little Quakers football team. I want to thank Bob and Sissy Levy and the Little Quakers coaching staff for deciding I was talented enough to make the team, for developing my skills as a quarterback, and for teaching me that football is not about winning or losing, but about competing. My Little Quaker experience was a springboard that propelled me to Penn Charter. Due to the kindness, generosity, and philanthropy of Bob and Penny Fox, I was able to attend Penn Charter. Bob and Penny have taken a personal tragedy and used it to enhance the lives of young people through the Fox Scholarship in honor of their son. Like dozens of others, my family and I are forever indebted to Bob and Penny. I was fortunate during my years as a student at Penn Charter to compete with and be coached by some amazing people. I want to thank teammates and friends Ed Foley, Bob Rosania, Pennsylvania Hall of Fame 2013 class, and Eddie Melandro for your inspiration and encouragement. I want to thank my high school coaches, Bill Gallagher and Rick Beller, both of whom are in the Hall of Fame, and Ed Zubrow for first and foremost your friendship. As teacher coaches and fierce competitors, you taught me about discipline, teamwork, and strategy. You taught me to set the bar high and to enjoy the competition. After graduating from Penn Charter, I matriculated to Ursinus College. My years at Ursinus were challenging ones for the college's football program. It wasn't until my senior year that we achieved a winning record of 5-4, the first winning season in 12 years. My head coach, Sterling Brown, was a true gentleman. He cared deeply about each of his players. I want to thank him for the opportunity to play quarterback for him and for challenging me to be a leader. After Ursinus, I made my way back to Penn Charter, the place that I have called my second home for the past 27 years. To quote a PC alum, class of '73, after my parents, I owe not only who I am, but who I want to be to Penn Charter. I couldn't say it more eloquently. I want to thank Earl Ball, former head of school, for believing in me 27 years ago and giving me the opportunity to come back to Penn Charter to teach and coach. I also want to thank Darrell Ford, head of school, and Travis Larrabee, director of the upper school, for challenging me to take risks and to grow as an educator. I can't imagine my coaching journey without the many assistant coaches who supported and inspired me for 13 years. Jeff Bass, Tommy Coyle, John Fenningham, Bill Gallagher, Ed Gallagher, Paul Hart, Chuck Kitchler, Jeff Humble, Birch Maley, Andrew Martina, Rick Miller, Chuck Mccluskey, Bob McNally, Mike Samuel, Jerry Sassy, and Joe Sparrow. The success of the football program during my tenure as head football coach doesn't happen without their tireless commitment and love of the game, players, and Penn Charter. Thank you. As all of you know, it's hard to be a successful coach without talented players. I was blessed to have coached many extraordinarily gifted student athletes. I am proud to call many of them friends. They have enriched my life in ways that I have never imagined. Finally, I would like to thank my best friend, my wife, Gina. She is proof that sometimes in life we get better than we deserve. Thank you for your love and support for the past 22 years. To my son, Colin, and daughter, Carly, I can't tell you how proud I am of the young adults you have become. It has been tremendous joy to watch you grow. I am blessed to have you in my life. I am here tonight because of the generosity, leadership, and love of many people. As a result, I have endeavored to provide that same generosity, leadership, and love to the many students and players with whom I have taught and coached. As even as this room is full of people here tonight demonstrates, we are a community. Thanks to the community for fostering my growth as an athlete and leader, and for this tremendous honor. Thank you.
Our next honoree is Bill Mendick. Bill starred at West Catholic in high school, 2 years playing varsity basketball and 4 years varsity baseball, where he particularly excelled, including being an all-Catholic member, not 1, 2, 3, but 4 years. How cool is that? 4 years. He was an all-city performer in 1979 and 1980, and designated all-state for his performance in 1979. He then went on to pitch at Temple and flat out, frankly, dominated at Temple University. The Owls' leader in wins, saves, appearances, innings pitched, and strikeouts. And I don't know if you want to leave anything else, like anyone else allowed to, be a category leader here. He pretty much took them all. Amazing. For Bill, second team All-American in college and the MVP pitcher for his school for all 4 years. Bill went on to be drafted by the Seattle Mariners in the 9th round of the Major League Baseball draft and played 5 years of pro ball, getting all the way up to the AAA level. We congratulate him, Bill Mendick.
Good evening. Thank you for the Philadelphia chapter for inducting me into this prestigious Hall of Fame. To my fellow inductees, what an honor, and congratulations to you as well. Before I start tonight, I do have one question. I wonder if Frank Sylvester threw out more people than I struck out. Only you umpires know the answer to that question. Today is a very special day and one that I get to share with my family, coaches, and friends. I'm very proud to say that I grew up in Southwest Philadelphia and competed for West Catholic High School and Temple University. The success that I had would not be possible without a great supporting cast. That starts with both my parents. My father was a person who loved the game and would often ask me, what did I want to do in life? My answer was always the same: get a scholarship to college and get drafted by Major League Baseball. My mother was a person who would challenge both of those ideas in a way that I had to prove it and not just dream about it. She knew how to motivate me, and at an early age, I thank her for that now. Playing high school baseball in the Catholic League was very competitive, and my years at West Catholic will never be forgotten. The last high school city championship ever won was the 1979 Burrs baseball team victory over Mastbaum. That team went 25-3 and will remain a proud moment for me. My years spent at Temple were also very special. I was recruited by James Skip Wilson. I had narrowed down my choices between South Florida and Temple. During my visit at Temple, Skip asked me who else was in the running. When I answered South Florida, Skip said, Robin Roberts is a friend of mine. I'll call him now and tell him to take you. I often wonder if he really had Robin Roberts' phone number, but that sealed the deal, and I went to Temple. This man had a big impact on my life and taught me the importance of being a leader. He stressed working hard in the classroom, treat people with respect, and everything will take care of itself. He explained that baseball will not last forever and that your education is key to success. Skip, thanks for talking to me over the years, sharing your advice when I asked for it. In June 1984, I was drafted by the Seattle Mariners in the 9th round and played 5.5 years of professional baseball. December of 1984, I got married to my wife, Joni, and we'll be celebrating 30 years of marriage later this year. Bellingham, Washington, Scottsdale, Arizona, Wausau, Wisconsin, Salinas, California, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Burlington, Vermont, Calgary, Canada. These were all the stops from rookie ball to AAA that I traveled. Getting paid to play a game was really cool, even though my career did not get me to the show. In my roller coaster ride, we as a baseball family have a saying that the game is like a roller coaster. You have many highs, you have some lows, put on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Lastly, I want to make this comment to my wife, Joni Lynn. She gave me the emotional support and kept our family together, never asking for anything in return. Joni, it was your endless resolve and support that enabled us to raise our children the right way. I look forward to doing the same thing as we grow older and the grandchildren continue to come in our life. I remain very proud of my 3 children and their accomplishments thus far in life. Thank you.
Next up, Tim Murphy. Now, you can clap, no doubt. Like so many here, Tim has had an outstanding career as both a player and a coach. He was a standout at Lincoln High School in both football and baseball. He was, from a football standpoint, in 1973, 74, and 75, All-Public and All-State. He was the MVP, this is really cool, he was the MVP of the city's first ever high school football all-star game. And in 1974 and 75, he was also all-public in baseball as well. He was a Maxwell Football Club award recipient during his time in high school, and then later went on to play college football at Syracuse. From there, he went on to be a coach, transitioning to coaching both baseball, softball, and also football. And included in this was a spectacular softball season where his girls squad went 23-0 in 1996. Tim, in the past few years, has transitioned to horse racing and is now an extremely successful owner, breeder, and trainer of horses in upstate New York. He's made the journey back with us here. He's here tonight. Congratulations, Tim Murphy.
Good evening. I'm very humbled and honored to be inducted in the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. In 1968, I started organized sports under Joseph Mccluskey, that was also Sir Mccluskey at the Tacony PAL. In 1968, I played on a team that I can never forget. It was a team of 16 young little kids, didn't know anything about organized sport of football. But we had a coach who bonded us and showed us the name of how to play the game of football. We played against a team who dominated through the years. That was EOM. And boy, the first year, I don't think we wanted to play anymore. But this coach took the same group of guys and said, we're going to beat them. We looked at them and said, again, we're going to get beat again. But we didn't. EOM was like a team that just dominate you, beat you up, and laugh at you. But our coach said, not this year, guys. We're going to dominate. We beat them twice and won the championship. And I want to thank this coach, because this coach treated me like an individual. And it's my father, Gus Murphy. that started me to realize that I really loved the game of football. Then on, I went to Lincoln High School. And I wondered to myself, geez, am I good enough to play in this category of guys where, you know, we weren't much, but through the coaching of Lou Grandizio and Bob Caesar, got a team to play with pride. In my senior year, I just want to bring up this one incident. We were playing against Frankfurt High School, and I wanted to beat them so bad. And of course, not to brag, it was probably one of the greatest ball games I ever played in my life. I scored 3 90-yard running touchdowns, and the last touchdown, the third touchdown, was 97 yards within a minute left in the game, and I'm running down the sidelines, putting the ball like a show off, I guess, running past Al Angelo, and then decided to run backwards for the last 20 yards like a hot dog. We take the lead. There was 48 seconds left on the clock. But in the meantime, what I'm trying to say is, running back to the sidelines, nobody's high-fiving me, and here comes a Raging Bull coach, Bob Caesar, grabs a hold of me and says, "What the hell are you doing? Look what you just did. You just fired that team up. Go sit on the bench." To that day on, he taught me, you're no better than anybody else. You're not a star. So I like to, you know, Bob was a big inspiration to me. A great coach. Gave me the opportunity to go to Syracuse. I got hurt, and then I went on to horse racing, and a little successful in the horse racing business, hard work. But I want to thank somebody, my wife, my son, all the hard work we did, and the hours that we put in. It's tough. But whatever I needed, she was always there. So I'd like to thank her. I'd like to thank the guys here. And I'm so proud. Thank you very much.
You know what I love? You know, some of these instances, it's 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades since they competed in these games, but the fierce competitiveness we hear. I mean, it's awesome. It really is. Our next honoree is Gene Otto. Gene went to and graduated from West Catholic in 1966 and then served our nation in Vietnam. Gene is one of the individuals up here tonight primarily for success as an official, exemplary service for over 30 years in basketball, football, and baseball. Now, for Gene, umpiring, okay, Division I baseball, also included high school level baseball with over 15 high school championship games, American Legion and Junior Legion ball, and for the past 25 years has been, really just helping to give back and grow the officiating component of things, assigning umpires for more than 25 years to so many different leagues in the region, and obviously nurturing the success of this new generation of umpires along the way. He is one of the most respected and pioneering leaders from a sports officiating standpoint, and he's with us here tonight. Congratulations, Gene Otto.
Well, I guess Joe said it all. I could probably just sit down. Is that clap for me to sit down or to continue on? All right, fellow Hall of Fame committee, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As I look out over the great group of people here tonight, I recognize so many familiar faces I've come to work with, to know, and to love over my years with the Philadelphia Catholic League and Interact. I'd like to now honor my umpires, if they would please stand up. Thank you. What a privilege and pleasure it has been for me here in front of you tonight to accept this most prestigious nomination to the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. What an exciting journey it's been. It seems that not so long ago, I was a teen who just loved athletics. I was hooked on all sports, especially football, baseball, and basketball. If it was a competitive activity, I was there, ready to jump in and play. As I grew into manhood, I became convinced that participation with athletics would become an essential part of my life. Something that I've severed for the past 4 decades. Sports are in my DNA, and I'm living proof that you can't take a boyhood love of sports out of a man. During my days as a player and as an arbiter on the field, I've had the good fortune to witness fellow participants who have become standout athletic. I've also come to know and revere highly officials, as in Frank Sylvester, John McGardle, in the high school, college, and professional ranks. Without a doubt, other than my devoted family and dear friends, nothing has given me more joy and inspiration over the years than the few hours on every designated occasion that I have had the opportunity to confidentially walk into a baseball field, a football field, or a basketball court to officiate a contest. Along with this excitement and enjoyment that I have experienced as a sports official, I've also cultivated a deep appreciation and respect for the sports events that I referee and the athletics who compete. I've learned that it's just not enough to strive to make the current call, including the close ones, or to know the rules of the game. Beyond that, to become a truly effective judge of the athletic event, it is essential to have an honest appreciation for the sport in which you are involved with arbitration. Respect for the integrity of the sport always comes first. In closing, I want to take this opportunity to thank my wife, Kathy, for the enduring support these past years. Without her by my side, I would have never made or been able to contribute to and thoroughly enjoy this fantastic vocation. To my fellow officials, among them the dedicated members of the Philadelphia Umpires Association and the CBUAO, the coaches of both the Catholic League and the Interact who have worked with me, and to the members of the nominating committee who have afforded me to this rare and highly honored recognition to be enshrined in the prestigious Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. I offer my sincere and heartfelt thanks. Thank you, one and all.
Our next honoree is Stanley Parker. Stan excelled in football, basketball, and baseball at Chestnut Hill Academy as a student. And then in the latter part of his career at CHA, a serious automobile accident altered his course as a player, and for a period of time temporarily suspended his playing days. CHA gave Stan an amazing opportunity, and he took it and ran with it. As a senior, unable to play, Stanley was the coach for CHA's junior football and baseball team. Really cool distinction. He did eventually get back to playing after he left CHA and played semi-pro ball as he recovered, playing semi-pro ball down in Virginia. In 1973, Stanley returned to CHA to teach and coach, and from a coaching standpoint was involved as a coach with both the football, basketball, and baseball programs. It's the baseball program where Stanley had his greatest success at CHA with the varsity baseball teams, accumulating, this is an astounding number of victories in 23 seasons. How about 323 victories in 23 seasons? You kidding me? 323. Stanley also, for many years, over 25 years, has been instrumental in the success of the Great Carpenter Cup, which we know involves the Philadelphia Phillies and is just a great unifying force for regional and local baseball here for us in the Philadelphia area. We congratulate him, our next honoree, Stanley Parker. Congratulations, Stan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start by thanking the selection committee, the All-Star Chapter of the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame for bestowing this honor on me. I also would like to congratulate tonight's other inductees, their families, and supporters. Tom Boswell, a noted author about baseball and columnist for the Washington Post, has written several books and a number of articles about how life imitates baseball or how baseball imitates life, depending on your perspective. After rereading his stories, I can only concur. Of the many parallels Boswell reports on, one rings so true for me was the importance of team. So often we tend to focus on the accomplishments of individuals, much like this evening. And individuals have earned their recognition, no doubt. But Boswell makes a point of looking beyond the glory of one and focuses on how the individual excels due to the many. A pitcher who throws a perfect game. How about his catcher who calls the game, or the fielder who makes the spectacular catch to keep that perfect game alive? The second baseman who dives and knocks down a ball, flips to the shortstop who makes a great pivot and throws to first to complete an inning-ending double play. The batter who comes up with 2 out in the last inning, bases loaded and his team down 3, and hits that grand slam to win the game. What about those batters who got on to give the hero a chance to come to the plate and hit that game-winning home run? As we proceed in our lives, our successes are due in great part to the teams surrounding us, regardless of the profession. While we may receive the accolades, it's only fitting that we take a moment to share our successes with those who played a part. So if I might, I would like to share my moment with many of my members of my team. To those who traveled great distances, specifically Bob Colburn from St. Andrew's School in Delaware and his wife Dot, Vinny Carlisi, who has traveled from Florida, where he is the director of the Florida Coast Spring Training Program. It was his program that was the genesis of much of Chestnut Hill Academy's great success during the last 14 years I was privileged to coach. To my former players, who were not only tremendous players, but were better young men, and to their families. To friends and parents who've offered encouragement, to my colleagues from Chestnut Hill, now Springside Chestnut Hill Academy, who've always offered encouragement and support, and a number of them are here tonight. My family, my son Bill, my sister Carrie, my baseball crazy daughter Jennifer, and my wife Hope, who endured every aspect from the joys of victory and to the lows of any defeat. And finally, the heart and soul of my team, my fellow coaches at CHA. I've often said, and will continue to claim, that I was fortunate to have what may well have been the best high school baseball staff ever. Starting with Frank McGee, who headed our JV program, Bill Dorner, our trainer for so many years, Ken Conlon, Jack Purdy, John McArdle, and the two originals, Dennis Primavera and Bob Undercuffler. Not only was this a great staff, but they are among my dearest friends. Each component was so important in my success, so I thank them all from the bottom of my heart. I am profoundly honored and humbled to be here tonight. Tom Boswell would encourage all of us to look beyond the moment of any play and see the many people it takes to find success. Thank you all for my special moment tonight. This will always be among my fondest memories.
Congratulations, Stan. Next is Frank Sylvester. They like you, Frank. They like you. Frank has had an amazing career as an umpire. He started umpiring back in 1975, and in 1980 took sort of that chance you take when you're trying to figure out what to do professionally by taking a chance, taking it up some level by going down to Florida for a specialized umpire school. And from there, things really took off for Frank as he accelerated his path upward in the umpire profession, and accelerated all the way to the point where he umped for many years in the minor leagues, including being a crew chief at the AAA level of the International League of the Minor Leagues. Frank then transitioned to college athletics, and since 1992 has been an umpire at the NCAA Division I college baseball level. Included in this time have been 14 NCAA regionals, 9 super regionals, and 3 College World Series. Really cool. Congratulations, Frank Sylvester.
I'm pretty sure I'm at the end of the program here because my friends are the ones that stay and drink and spend money at the bar. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow recipients. Congratulations. Thanks to the committee, Milt Halstead, for this award. Well, special thanks to my friend John McArdle for nominating me. To be in this group with John, his dad, and his brother is pretty cool. I appreciate that. So how did you get started umpiring? I know it's probably pretty hard for people to think, but little kids don't tell their parents they want to be baseball umpires. I became a baseball umpire for 2 reasons. 1, I couldn't hit. And 2, I didn't have a summer job. And a guy I grew up with, Tommy Telford, who's here, his dad was this guy back in the day. He was Gene Otto back in the day. He assigned all the umpires, all in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley. He had them all from the kids through college. And he said to me, why don't you umpire? Well, who wants to umpire? It's for like fat old people. I didn't really want to do that. And both of us actually were right. He was right that I would enjoy baseball, and here I am, a fat old guy. So it worked out okay. I did want to point out for Bill Mendeck, though, they missed one of his records. He did pick off more runners than anybody I've ever seen in my life. He had the best move of a left-hander I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure he cheated, but that's... I think there's 2 things that people need to be successful, no matter what you do, whether it's sports, business, your personal life. You need a supportive family, and you need mentors, people to help you along the way. My mom and dad are the people that paid for me to go to umpire school. I don't know how the hell they came up with that kind of money in 1980 from a row home in Philadelphia in the only section. I'll never thank you enough, Mom, for that. To my wife, Cheryl, 28 years. You guys that have umpired with me to think I'm a pretty tough guy, you have never met my wife. My wife's the one who keeps it together for all of us. She's always been there when I was in the minor leagues. She would work all day, come home to an empty house because her husband wasn't home. She was pregnant with our Lauren. She was pregnant all day, worked all day, and came home to an empty house. I can never say thanks enough for that. Not for being pregnant and alone, but just for doing it. The things that you do for our family, I can never say enough thanks, and I appreciate that. To my kids, I say sorry. I apologize for the things I missed that you've done in your life because I was at baseball, proms, swim meets, whatever. I apologize for that. And I know Penn Charter's been getting a lot of play today, but I had to pay for Germantown Academy for 2 kids. So that's part of the reason I wasn't home on weekends, okay? We're in there, we're equal. To my brother, when you're 31 years old looking for a job because you left baseball, and you have a brother who's kind of in the Hall of Fame in our industry, in the beverage industry, and opens doors to find you a job, I can't say thanks enough for that. The other part to be successful is mentors. I'm pretty lucky because I had some great mentors. And they're all in this group. They all belong to this Hall of Fame. Tom Telford, I can never, ever thank you enough for asking a 17-year-old kid to umpire. For seeing the potential in a young kid, somebody wanted to do something and show him the right way. For sending me to umpire school, you didn't pay for it, but it was your idea. I can never thank you enough for that. When I was a young guy, an umpire, I wanted to be like some people. I wanted to be like Eddie Kerrigan. Eddie Kerrigan is, for those of you who don't understand the reference, he's the Doug Harvey of the Catholic League. As a young guy umpiring, I wanted to be Eddie Kerrigan. I wanted to be Ernie Gallagher Sr., who passed away many years ago. Amen. I wanted to be Bob Nelson, who passed away years ago. These people were all guys that gave me guidance, helped me along the way, and I can never thank them enough for what they've done for me. I have a couple of regrets in my baseball career. One is obviously that I didn't go to the big leagues full time. My biggest regret is that when I did have an opportunity to umpire in the major leagues, and when I did have the opportunity to umpire national championship in the NCAA, the 3 times I was there, is that my dad wasn't there. Excuse me, to share it with me. But I'm pretty sure he's proud of me today, so that's good. And just in closing, and I did get it within my 5 or 6 minutes too. And in closing, I just want to say to my fellow officials, no matter what sport you officiate, what your uniform is, take the lessons that you've learned, pass them along to the younger officials, give them the opportunities that people gave us that have moved up in sports into the professional level or up in the college levels. Pass those good things on. Don't forget the younger officials, and give them the same opportunities that you've had. Thank you.
Our final recipient tonight, or honoree I should say, is Robert Wheeler, who had just a tremendous athletic career, starting first off at Northeast Catholic High School, where Robert, much like many people up here, played multiple sports, including soccer, involved in the soccer teams, varsity soccer championship squads of 1965, 1966, and 1967. He also was a varsity baseball pitcher and also a member of the varsity basketball team, where he was all Catholic and on the Catholic League championship team and the city championship team, and an all Catholic selection in 1967. Robert then went on to Wesley Junior College, where he played varsity basketball and baseball, and then on to the University of Baltimore, where from 1970 to 1972 he excelled as a member of the varsity basketball team. He's with us right now, our final honoree. We congratulate him, Robert Wheeler. Congratulations, Robert.
The last one, so you'll be out here pretty soon. I just want to thank the Pennsylvania City Hall All-Stars for putting me in here. It's a great honor. I want to congratulate all the fellow inductees. And I also want to thank Dennis Hill. Dennis, you in the back there? He was my high school teammate. He nominated me for this great honor, so I appreciate it, Dennis. Thank you. Growing up, there was two things that were very important to me. One was sports, of course, but the other one was family. Family and friends was very important to me. And I think I want to just highlight a couple of things that brought me to this moment. There's a person in the back there. I can't believe he coached me for 9 years. That's pretty hard to believe. He coached me from 5th grade at Holy Innocents to my senior year at North Catholic. Franny Doc, would you please stand up, Franny? Stand up. Franny was not only my coach, but he was also a friend. Even to this day, he was a friend. Anytime that I needed help, especially in them years, in my teenage years, Franny was always there for me. So thank you, Franny. I really appreciate that. The other person that was really instrumental to me with sports was Jack Frail. Jack Frail was a disciplinarian, and thankfully he was a disciplinarian because he kept me on the straight and narrow when I was in North Catholic. He coached me for 3 years. When we won a city championship at North Catholic, he was the varsity coach. He not only was a great coach and a great person, but when I had problems coming out of college, and problems that you have when you're, 17, 18, 19 years old, his door was always open to me. So he passed away a few years ago, but I wanted to reach out and thank him. Now, the other persons that I really want to thank is my family, because without my family, I don't know where I'd be today. My whole family is over there in table 18. Could you kind of stand up, please? But I don't want to stand up. They just want to wait. I want to mention my sister and my brother Michael. They were always supporting me. They were always there for me. But the one person I really want to recognize is my brother Johnny. When I was in school, when I was in high school, I was playing sports, but Johnny was over there. He was overseas in the Marines fighting for our freedom. So thank you, John. Stand up, please. Look at the Macho Marines crying over there. Lastly, I just want to talk about my parents, just for a second, please. And my wife. My God, wife. My wife there. Oh, my God. That would have been a long ride home. Pat, we've been married 35 years, and I really, really appreciate you putting up with me for 35 years. They were 35 wonderful years, so thank you very much. I love you very much. The last thing I want to talk about my parents. My father, he was a prison guard. He worked hard his life. He couldn't get to see a lot of my games, but anytime when the game was over, I would always come home and talk to him about it, and he would give me some words of wisdom. But the rock of my family was my mother. Her name was Mary Delaria Wheeler. She was 4'10", but in my eyes, she was 10 feet tall. So I know she's looking down at me now, smiling with everybody. So thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say to our 14 honorees here tonight, phenomenal words, sensational stories, and a real, again, privilege for me to be here with all of you tonight. A couple final things before we head out the door. I want to thank Milt Halstead and his staff for helping to put this entire banquet together. Let's hear it for Milt and everybody. The 23rd annual banquet, Philadelphia City All-Star Chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. And again, as you drive home tonight, really reflect on what that means. Pennsylvania Sport Hall of Fame, really cool. Final thing on the way out the door. It's never too late for one last ovation. If you would, please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in recognizing our 23rd class, Philadelphia City All-Star Chapter, Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations.